Hey guys, Adam Fennig here with Fennig Equipment. Today I want to walk you through how to mount a Yetter Devastator on a John Deere head. This is going to be a broad, I guess, instruction because there's several different versions of the John Deere head. We're working on a 6-row right now. Of course, the first step is to make sure that the head's locked up. We've got the safety lock in there right now. But the first step is some of you guys have got this shield in between the row units. And so you're actually just going to have to bend that up a little bit. If you just take a pry bar and bend that up, we just need to be able to get bolts through there. So we went through and we pried up all those on this 6-row. Next step is we're going to put the mount bracket up in there. So stay tuned. All right, so you can see I've got this arm bolted to the frame. There's 4 bolts and 2 backing plates that go in there. And of course, they're all held on with lock nuts on the back side. This just gets put in between the 2 row units. The only thing you got to watch is make sure that when your snoot comes down, it does not hit the spring or interfere with the gathering chains. So I've got this bolted up. The next step is these straps. They go right in here. These are just extra bracing straps. There's one on each side. Those are held on with a whiz nut. Those are 1/2-inch bolts. And then the next step is to put a bushing right up in this hole here. I'll get that put in, get the arm on, and we'll do the next step. All right, so I've got my arm on there. It's held on with that bolt that goes through the bushing that you saw me push through there. The next step is to get the spring assembly in. And so you'll take this long eyelet bolt, you'll lay it up top. And then you've got this goofy looking bolt with an Allen wrench on the end. That is what holds the spring assembly together. So you've got to have a washer on each side of this eyelet bolt. That can be a little tricky to get in there, but you put a spring or a washer on each side of it. So now that bolt is held on, or that long eyelet bolt is held on with the Allen head bolt, and it gets this short washer. It looks like it's been cut in half. That goes on that same bolt. So now I'm ready for my spring. That just gets slid over the bolt. I've got my cap and the big nut that holds on the spring. So I'll do all that, put some tension on that, and you'll want to tighten that nut down on that spring to show 3 to 4 threads. That way you've got adequate tension on this arm. So I'm going to bolt all this up together. Next step is sliding the roller A-frame bracket up into here. So we'll see you then. So you can see we've got both these arms mounted. This is a 693 head. So on this one, the outside arm gets pointed out, the inside goes inside. On your head, pay attention to your manual and see which direction these go, because there are lefts and rights of these brackets. But as you can see, now we've got this cross member mounted. It's held on with the bolts that are in this white bag. There's a bolt and a bushing. They fit in here on the back side. There's 4 of them. These are 1/2-inch bolts. And you just slide this up in that assembly, slide your bolts through on this back side and tighten them. I put the bolts in from the top and put my nuts on the bottom here. So next step is actually raising the roller, and we'll do that next. All right, so we're to the point to where we're ready to mount the roller. On this 6-row, there's 2 3-row rollers. If you've got an 8-row head, you're going to have 2 3-rows and then a 2-row in the center. A 12-row will have 4 3s. But anyway, most of the hardware you've got left is a washer and of course this bearing and housing. This washer goes over the square shaft, and then if you notice, this bearing has got 2 sides to it. Of course, it's got a side that is flat, but then this side sticks up above the cast housing just ever so slightly. This flat edge goes to the outside. That is the edge that will bolt up flush. You'll know instantly if you've got them swapped if you tighten everything up and your roller does not spin. That's a good way to know. If you look here, This roller we've got installed, mounted up there already. The roller spins. These bolts are tight that are holding on, at least on that side, holding up the bearing housing. And this Devastator is pretty much ready to roll. We have to tighten up some nuts here, but that's how it's going to look. You have to line up your crimpers with your row by sliding this back and forth before you tighten these nuts. And once you get it lined up, you tighten them up and you're good to go. That's it. We've tightened up the spring tensions already. This Devastator is ready to roll. Thanks for tuning in.